Hi, I'm Jim Tocco. I was the radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Lansing Lugnuts back in 2003. It was only one season, but what a season it was. A Midwest League championship, a truly unforgettable game on Easter Sunday, and 16 players who would go on to play in the major leagues, including a third baseman who would become a major league catcher, a catcher who would become a major league pitcher, and a lanky young left-hander who would take 12 more years before he became, well, Rich Hill. The team was an affiliate then of the Chicago Cubs, and you could tell right away what a special collection of personalities this team had. Personalities like the catcher Jake Fox, second baseman Ryan Theriot, shortstop Buck Coates, and relievers Weston O'Brien and Mark Carter. They were these larger-than-life guys who somehow came together and they were able to direct their competitiveness in the same direction. The manager, Julio Garcia, was a player manager, and he really allowed guys to stay loose, be themselves, and translate that onto the field. Now at the time, Andy Cisco and Felix Pie were who everyone was looking at. They were the top prospects in all of baseball at the time, but the true diamonds in the rough were still flying under the radar. Randy Wells, who became a solid starting pitcher for the Cubs, was then a catcher for the Lugnuts. He was a backup. He played 20 games. He batted .149, and it seemed like his career was going to be over until the Cubs wisely tried him on the mound. Then there was the 19-year-old infielder, Robinson Chirinos, who was sort of an unforgettable infielder until he moved to catcher several years later, and now at age 35, he's still a backstop in the major leagues with the Houston Astros. Then there was Rich Hill, of course. That year, he started 4 games for the Lugnuts. He relieved in 11, and he showed nothing of that same curveball and changeup that has him a major league star with the Dodgers today. Now this group went just 69 and 66 that regular season, 3 games above 500, but there were some truly unforgettable moments for me. I remember Jose Reyes, not the Jose Reyes who's the shortstop for the Mets, but the Lugnuts starting catcher Jose Reyes, who had the best arm I'd ever seen at the time. He stood at home plate before a game in Davenport, Iowa, and threw the baseball out of the stadium and clanged it off the Centennial Bridge. If you've ever been to that ballpark, you know how far of a throw that was, and I was just amazed by that. Then there was that game on Easter Sunday. The Lugnuts won 15-0. Justin Jones and 2 other pitchers combined on a no-hitter, and Donnie Hood, the designated hitter, hit for the cycle in that game. According to my own baseball research, it's the only professional game that's had a no-hitter and a cycle in that same game. And then there were the moments that you only see in the minor leagues. There was this hot, muggy August night where the home plate umpire couldn't continue due to heat exhaustion. And so the game continued with just one Midwest League umpire calling the balls and strikes, and then players from each team umpiring the bases. Did that come into play? Yeah, you bet that came into play with bad calls from each team, and then on-field arguments where there was only one umpire to mediate those arguments. The game went on until almost 1 a.m. and it almost broke league curfew laws. Then, of course, there was the Midwest League playoffs. The Lugnuts simply became unbeatable. They played all close games, but this team that was only 3 games above 500 in the regular season, they just swept their way through, going 7-0, and it culminated with a 3-game win over the Beloit Snappers, a team that was led by Prince Fielder, Tony Gwynn Jr., and Ricky Weeks. And the winning run was scored in extra innings in the 10th on a sacrifice fly that scored Felix Pie. Just an unforgettable year, and I feel lucky to have been with the Lugnuts this year. I feel lucky to have this ring to remember it by. Thanks very much for letting me share my memories.